Hello and welcome. This is Ruth, and today I'm going to show you through Tonic Studio's new collection, and it's called Floral Finestra. It's a little bit different from some of the things Tonic have had before in that we've got some rub-ons that go along with dies and stamps. So just watch along and I hope you enjoy this. I'm going to have a little look at the dies first, and then the stamps, and then the rub-ons, and then we'll make some cards. If you want to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, you'll see lots more of Tonic Studios videos, and hopefully you'll enjoy them too. If you do, don't forget to give them a big thumbs up. As well as that, sorry, I should have said, my affiliate links to everything I use will be down below in the description of the video, and I'll get a little commission from that, but it doesn't cost you anything extra, and I always appreciate that. It means I can come back and give you more content. Now, having a look at this first of all, I can see that this is quite unusual for Tonic. It's not like anything I've used from Tonic for quite a while. It's more of a die that cuts into your card rather than something that cuts out. Now we've got a square and a sort of dashed rectangle and a little banner and a tag here, and they definitely cut pieces out, but you can see here on these two that there's no outside cutting edge on anything. This is a metal plate, and these pieces here cut into the card. So obviously then we've got this beautiful one with the trellis effect on it, and then we've got this plainer one with little lines across it here, more like a little window, I guess. And then you can see that we've got beautiful stamps. This is a really gorgeous big rose stamp here, and I'll show you in a minute just how that's meant to work. But then there are lots of lovely little sentiments as well. So some of them are quite straightforward and some of them are punny, and you can just have a little look there. I'll leave that, and you can hold on to the screen, just freeze it if you want to have a closer look for a little bit longer. Now I'm moving on to these rub-ons because I don't remember having rub-ons. I think I've just used a different product from Tonic as well just there lately, but it's not this. So I'm going to show you how this works. Let me see. So if you place this directly onto your card front or onto a panel of card and then cut out a rectangle with it, you're going to get this pattern in your card, and you'll see very quickly then that if you cut off one of these, just be careful and don't cut out anything that you don't need. You can lay that right inside here, and the leaves then correspond to these areas here, and the flower will go across here. So I'm guessing that that is a rose here, hibiscus. I don't have the names of them, so I'm sorry about that. And this one then would probably be a poppy. So this one here is hibiscus, as I said, and you can see already that they're very highly saturated in colour. So I would suggest not adding too much of that on. Well, you know, if you love lots of colour and you love lots of bold things, go ahead and do that. I think I would prefer something a little more elegant with less colour and possibly just some highlights of gold or something like that to give a little bit of elegance. You can see little pieces in here that would maybe suggest that gold would be lovely with that. As well as these ones that you've got the flowers and different bits and pieces for, we've got a little set, and these obviously are the same colours, so you can actually add these little banners on here. These will fit in here, even this one, and then this little square and the rectangle ones will fit in here as well. And let me see, there's the other one. So these are absolutely beautiful and very, very different, as I said, and I'm going to show you how to use them. So I have taken an A2 card blank. I just made this myself from some 300 GSM Craft Perfect Smooth card. It's a great quality for a card base, and I folded it in the centre here, and then I've laid my die, the plate die here, right on top of this, just like that, and I've run it through my die cutting machine. So this would go on the plates. Maybe I should just show you the plates, and we'll go from there. Coming in, one very dirty Tonic plate, well used. So if you set this on and then put your white plate on top of that and run it through this way into the machine so that you're not running over this, you're not going to damage this part of the card, and do make sure the card's open as well, because that way it's only going to cut into one side, and when you bring it out, pop out all the little spare pieces and you're going to have a top fold card. Well, I suppose you could have a side fold card too, but I intend this one to be a top fold card, and this now is ready to add either a rub-on, or you can see here how this stamp would work. So I'm just going to lift the stamp off and show you how exactly this fits on, but just note this actually is more or less the shape of the rub-on as well. Now, I think I'll go ahead and maybe use one of the rub-ons first of all, because I want to do a really, really simple card. So I've shown you how I've laid this on this way, run it through, pop the pieces out, and now I'm going to cut out one of these and just put them straight onto the card with my little bone folder. So I'll grab my scissors first of all and cut this off. I'm going to grab a small pair because I want to cut in and around all of these pieces. Now I'm thinking you might want to add lots and lots of this on, but it's actually these will go a lot further if you do keep them and just use them sparingly on the cards, because I think the cards are going to look so much better with not so much on it. Don't put your fingers on here, because that way you might affect the adhesive that's on it. If you're wanting to touch it down here, just go in between those two pieces and then lay this very carefully. Hold it over it first of all and make sure you've got it all centered properly, and then lay it down right there, like that. Now you can grab your bone folder and press very gently over the top until you've all of that connected to the card front, and then peel away the backing. Isn't that actually really, really beautiful? I think, for me anyway, there's a real temptation at this stage to look back at the rub-ons and all of the bits and pieces and want to add more pieces on, or want to add some colour here and there. But I'm going to leave that as it is, because I think it definitely looks a lot better like that. And I'm just going to add a little stamp on here. Now, normally I would put it on a little square or something and then put it on top. But this time I think I'm just going to stamp it straight on. I'm going to be brave, just put it into my stamping platform and stamp it straight down. For my next card then, I've used this beautiful trellis die and I've cut it out on the front of this one. And I'm just going to pop this inside my stamping platform again and put the rose on here. So the big rose is absolutely gorgeous. Look at it. I've used it before because I just wanted to try it out there in between times. So I'm just going to take a moment or two and make sure it's lined up really, really perfectly here. Actually, when I look at this, that's not exactly straight. That might annoy me just a little bit. I might even just put that on in a little square and get it straight on top of that, because no, it's kind of bugging me that I just didn't take time. Sometimes whenever I'm videoing, I rush the thing a little bit, and I'm just trying to keep going, and it's really better just to take your time. I'm always telling you that, so I need to do it myself. Perfect this time. Now I'm going to colour that in with alcohol markers. That's why I used alcohol-friendly ink, if that's what you'd call it. I used Memento ink for that. And I'm going to use my alcohol markers now and colour this in. I've gone a little bit ahead with this one because our water supply was cut off and a neighbour came to the door and it sort of interfered with the little bit of videoing that I was doing at the time. But not to worry, I was glad to see him, and I'm back to this now. So I've used 4 colours. I've used Pink Lady, Fresh Watermelon, Pea Pod and Bamboo Leaf in those alcohol markers, just the 4 colours. And then I came in with this little white gel pen, and you can see here I've added just little accents of white, and then in with the Morning Dew crystal drops and added some little pieces there onto the leaves. Now, I don't know if you've used these before or not. They're really, really beautiful. They're opaque at the moment until they dry, but it's best not to use them on pinks or reds, I find, because it tends to bleach the colour out for some reason. Just pinks and reds. It's absolutely perfect with everything else. And I stamped out "Thanks a bunch." Then I cut it with this die. I cut a V into it myself just here and popped that up in 3D foam pads, just being careful not to add one on there because obviously there's a space, there's a little gap in behind there. And I think that turned out really well. I just love that kind of simple elegance to that because there's not too much colour on it, but just enough to make it pop. I came back with this one because that "Get Better Soon" really was bugging me on there. It wasn't straight. I stamped it out again and then I cut it out with the little die from the die set, and I've just popped it up in 3D foam pads. It would have looked nice even just glued directly over the top, but a little bit of dimension just helped as well. And I've also added the crystal drops, the Morning Dew drops, right on top of the little flowers and some of the leaves there. And obviously, because this is a kind of a plasticky coating on that, it's not going to bleach that colour out. So I'm just going to leave those aside and let those dry. Well, if there's any background noise, you'll just have to ignore it. I'm sorry about that, but I think we're having a bit of problem with the water supply, and it's affecting, well, it's making a bit of noise in the background from the cistern and the tank and all of the rest of it. So I thought I'd go ahead with this beautiful background again. I just wanted to see what these other patterns would look like. This maybe looks like a dahlia, I'm not sure. But I'm going to lay this directly down on top of this and go from there. I've done the other 2 as well. I just wanted you to see what they look like because they are really, really beautiful. But I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I've cut the panel out again into a piece of card, and then I've trimmed it so that it was going to fit up inside here. And this time, I'll put it there so you can see, I'm just going to move that around a little bit until I see a little drop shadow, and it's not going to take an awful lot of space up. So if you just move this around here, and you'll see where there's a little drop shadow there, and glue that on. It's just a kind of accentuating effect on the white part, but it doesn't add too much more to the card. It just makes it stand out a little bit more. And on this one then, I've cut out some gold satin effect card, and I'm going to do the same thing on here. So just move it until it gets into position and glue it in. And it's just enough to make that stand out. And now we can see that it's really, really beautiful, just plain or with a little accent as well. Now, I've used the same size of card and the same top fold card for these. These are going to be gorgeous on bigger cards as well. These are A2, but you could use A6, and you could also use 5x7. You know, they'll fit on all sorts of cards, and you can have it this way. You could even have something hanging down. So just whatever way you prefer, but I'm keeping to the simple one just for now, and I'm going to go ahead and glue this on. I've taken the same size of card again, and this time I'm going to use it in landscape orientation. And I just wanted to show you that you can use these with all sorts of things. You don't necessarily have to use that little background die on it because the little rub-ons can be used with other die sets that you might have as well. So don't forget to explore that, and the stamp as well, because that's going to be gorgeous in so many different things. But I've gone for the fancy floral layering die and stencil set, and I've taken 2 dies out of that, I've cut a sort of oval or lozenge shape, maybe that would be, in white, and then I've taken the little scalloped one for the background, and that's going to go on here. But first of all, I'm going to put my little rub-on right onto the centre of this. I've got that up in 3D foam pads then, and I'm going to set it into the centre of this card, and then I'm going to add some more of the little pieces around it. So you can see there, I've cut some of these off, and I'm just going to put them into the corners, say here and here, yeah, here and here, and I'll be able to fit the little bone folder in behind because those are up on 3D foam pads. So I'll just place this first, and then, do you know what, actually, I think I'll put the leaf in first. I was going to put the leaf over the top, but I'm going to put a leaf and a flower in each corner. So we'll maybe just do it, yeah, like that. I've stamped out "You're the pick of the bunch," and then I've die cut that with the this long die here, and I've got 3D foam pads in the back of that, and I'm just going to pop that right into the centre there. And that's plenty for that card because it's still quite elegant. As I said, I don't want to add lots of colour. My initial reaction when I saw that was, let's go for some pink and some green in the background, but I actually think that just would have killed that card. So I hope that you like it like that too, but you can let me know in the comments what colours you'd have used with it. I'm going to stop there with that collection because I just have to call a halt, or I would just go on and on forever because I've looked at it and there's so many different things that are coming to mind. I think even with that large stamp there, the large um, rose stamp, that would be absolutely beautiful, embossed in some sparkly gold embossing powder, and then just put on like this over the top with a little bit of gold in behind. Um, I also thought that this would be beautiful with some vellum in behind here and a little tent fold part on there that you could put a little battery tea light in. That would be very, very beautiful as well. And then on this one, I thought I'm not going to put a sentiment on there because this is actually just the kind of card that I like to send to someone. If I need a card and I don't have a whole load of time to start bringing out boxes and just starting to make things, I actually like to have some set aside that I can add a sentiment onto at a later stage whenever I need it, just for whatever I need it for. So that's what I'm going to do with that one. I'm just going to hold on to that and I'll put happy birthday, thinking of you, or just whatever I need that one for. And this one here has got to stay get better soon, because if I take that off, which I sometimes do, there's better get better soon below that as well. But definitely, I'm really, really loving this whole collection because those rub-ons look really, really gorgeous and they're so easy to use. But isn't that stamp just so gorgeous? Really lovely. Now, when I go to take the photographs, you'll see then I've added lots and lots of these morning dewdrops on. That sometimes happens when I get a product in my hand that I love. I just carry on with it, but they'll dry so that you can see right through them. They'll be transparent whenever they're dry. Oh yes, and I put this little leaf on here because it's "Sorry You're Leafing," and I just wanted to add one extra leaf without going totally overboard. But thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that. There'll be lots and lots of photos at the end again. But don't forget, if you're interested in buying any of this, my affiliate links will be down below and I'll get a little commission, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. And if you have enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and leave me a little comment and let me know what kind of things you would like to do with this collection as well. I really, really do like to hear that because I love to know what you're all thinking as well. So in the meantime, happy crafting and thanks for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Thank you. Bye bye.